There we go.
Don't challenge me on a Tuesday, people. My bad. I didn't have the right button pushed. Ash, I'm sorry. Punish me?
Yep.
Ouch.
Don't do it again.
I said I'm a little bit overdressed because I get to go today to the Capitol to be there when they swear in Texas House District 30. We have sound now, right?
We do now, yeah.
Texas, because there's not the applause that I was expecting now that we're live. Thank you very much. House District 30 State Rep-elect America's Sheriff Extraordinaire AJ Louderback, but I get to be there. Be Small wants to know, where's your interview? You know, I'll tell you something, and thank goodness. Thank you,
State
Rena.
Farm.
Thank you, Rena, for pointing out that I do look sharp today. Yes, that would be my interviews. I'd go to State Farm, and they would say, you ever sold any life insurance? Because life insurance is really the key to everything.
Boy, they're under a little bit of fire for what they spent on that football game and the naming rights to that stadium yesterday, and then they canceled about $200 million worth of insurance in California.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is when I watch these, and don't get me wrong, it's important that insurance companies get their names out there. I always thought it was funny when, like, New York Life, or I think that's who it was, that life insurance is such a racket. Great benefit, right? You pay $30 a month, and if you die, they pay you $1 million, or your estate $1 million because you're dead. Good morning, Mom.
Yeah.
But I always found it interesting that, like, whichever something mutual, the quiet company, we don't advertise. They advertise that they don't advertise. The thing that we've always said is, when you look at Flo, that Flo that works for Progressive,
Yep.
her salary, before they start paying all of her expenses for appearances and all that, is over $3 million a year. And all she is an actress. I mean, not all she is, but I mean, she's an actress. She has no affiliation with the company except that they hired her. Well, then you've got that little Dweezil guy, and there's a handful of other people. They probably make $1 million, $1.5 million a year. That guy that...
They've gotten smart because remember the one girl that worked for AT&T? I think she got a little too uppity and wanted to go branch out into other things, and
they said,
now
fine,
she's not working.
They cut her.
Yeah.
Emu, you know, on Liberty Mutual, that guy probably makes $2 million a year.
The Emu probably makes more.
But here's the deal. That's why you see, now think about it, Aflac has a duck.
Well, now they've got Dion and Nick Saban.
Which cause, I guarantee you Nick's not doing that for less than $5 million a year. And I'm not exaggerating.
And he's doing VRBO stuff.
Those are great ads. See this? No fun. No showers longer than 5 minutes.
This isn't a spa.
It's not a spa. But when you watch Geico has an animated lizard. That lizard doesn't eat. You know, they're paying some firm X number of dollars to create the lizard.
Well, they still got the caveman running around doing ads too.
That's crazy too. But
They tried
anyway,
to spin that off in its own series. Remember that?
I do find it difficult to stomach that these insurance companies whine about how expensive life is and how hard it is for them to pay and how rates have to go up while they spend literally millions of dollars advertising who they are. It's kind of a little bit hypocritical. You don't really want back in the day, you might have been excited to see the president of the insurance company pull up in a Rolls Royce because, man, that's a stable company. They've got money. Now you just feel like if he drove a Buick, I might be getting a good deal on my insurance.
I tell you what, I mean, and I'm not trying to be prophetic. I'm not telling anybody to go do this. If I'm the CEO of State Farm after what happened to the guy from United Healthcare, I might be watching my back a little bit.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it. Because there's crazy people out there. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the tremendous folks. Stupendously aggressive pricing. The red funnel still unashamedly 99 cents. You just can't beat that. Going to Deerland Feed, there's I've got a hay ring. You know those rings that you put the round bale in?
Yeah.
I've got one in my backyard. It was too good a deal not to buy. I don't need it. I don't have any cows.
You don't have a
I
backyard.
just put Ryland in there and tell him to take swings off the tee. It was just such a good deal.
Your Shetland pony walks around in it in circles.
Yeah. It's like going to Harbor Freight. You'll buy a drill even though you know it's not going to work. It's just too cheap to not buy. 42 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of only 58 under cloudy skies. Today is kind of a meh day.
It's kind of a meh rest of the week.
Well, let's look at it. The rest of the week, Wednesday, 90% chance of rain, 47 to 53. Thursday, it says it'll be sunny, 40 to 62. I've got to leave you. I'm leaving today and going to Austin and then going on to Dallas. A great friend of mine, a guy that I've met probably 42 years ago, my first year at Texas. A buddy of mine from Paris, Texas, passed away on Sunday night. And I got word yesterday, and I'm going up. There's a funeral tomorrow. And Ash and I talked about this. Man, it's a sad deal. He was a great friend, but he's been sick for a while and was ready to go on all the levels. And it's very interesting to me that he had, what did you call it? Non-asbestosis mesothelioma. So you've seen those ads. I'm Bob. I've got mesothelioma, which is typically from breathing in brake dust or asbestos. And so many folks, we just grew up in an era, people that were auto mechanics, people that worked in shipyards. You ever been in a cockpit, Denny?
Lots of shipyards in Victoria.
This guy ended up with, it was in his abdomen, and it just happened to be that strain of cancer. And went back about maybe a little over a year ago. They had given him a whole bunch of drugs to really shrink it, which worked. And they were somewhat amazed because the doctor said 1 in 10 million. Like, nobody gets this that doesn't work in a shipyard. And anyway, they did 12 hours of surgery on this guy because he was so fit. And they thought they got it all. But as we all often see, when it came back angry.
I'm not convinced sometimes when they start digging at it and trying to cut it out, it doesn't piss it off, and cancer just says to heck with you.
I do start to wonder, and for those of us that are gentlemen that are getting a little older, and I'm not, but I see P. Strauss and folks, I'm curious what we should do. I'm 62 years old. They say that like prostate cancer.
You've lived a good life.
It's been a good run. I saw it's like my time is complete. I saw the Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls back in the 90s. I saw the Astros win a couple of World Series.
Yeah,
the Rockets were good in the 90s. The Longhorns. Well, anyway, Spurs. 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah, you saw the Longhorns win a national championship in 2005.
I saw them win all those. Just I was little bitty on that first one. Hey, baby update. Katie's baby did a rollover yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Phenomenal video. Katie, it's a great thing about our technology these days is I don't miss any of the big moments. And she videoed baby Kennedy. And she's got picture of the baby is on like a little padded thing. And out in front of her, Katie's got all the books and so that the baby can look at them. The baby's got her head up. She's on her elbows and she's got her head up and she's looking around. She's only, November, 3 months, 2 months. And Katie's behind her, and this is exactly how it sounded. Kennedy, give me a roll, sir. Give me a rollover. And all of a sudden, boom, the baby just rolls over her back. And she's splayed out on her back, and she's looking up at her mama. And rather than smile, Katie's going, oh, you're so cute, man, so cute. Well, the kid's like stunned looking, and Katie goes, why do you look so scared?
Because you just screamed
at the kid. Her eyes are about this big, and she's like, I'm on my back. But proud granddad.
Apparently.
Enough of me. Let's talk about y'all. What's going on in the
Daniel
world,
Wade White, first one in. Justin Glass, Patrick Strauss, Greg Garcia. Good morning, everybody. Kendra Douglas, Rena Scherer, David Glass, Lisa Poole.
It's worth it to me because Rena Scherer cares about my grandbaby. That's a fact.
Scott Tomko, Jordan Glass.
Y'all wait. When I get the baby down here, when they're going to get down here, they're going to move back to Killeen soon, Fort Cavazos. And when they get down here, there will be a meet and greet with baby Kennedy. You will meet me. All of you will have to get your Tdap shot. There will be masks appreciable for you to wear. Everybody should come see the baby. Why is it saying, no, that was way early. That was on
we hadn't gone through roll call yet. Lisa Poole, Junior Samples, Kendrick Douglas, Mark Kurtz, Crystal Map, Jeff Finley. Good morning, Marvin Mickish, Heather Stewart, B. Small.
I don't understand.
BJ Nelson, Scott Tomko, John Paul Hull,
AJP.
Posey, good morning. Mom's checking in.
Hi, Mom. Mom
Stephanie
got that
Connie,
video.
Scott Snow.
Now, which one was in Mad Men? Flo?
No, the AT&T girl, I think.
She's got a bright future.
Ryan Hopping, good morning. Michelle Wilson Hawkins, Andrew Alvarez. Norm Burgess, Uncle Norm.
There's Kendall. Kendall's a
Brad Mitchell, Sarah Elkins. Good morning, everybody. Tammy Williams.
Kendall, you can always call 894-4020, 361-894-4020.
So you're going up to the swearing in of our legislators.
Yes.
Texas has a
whorehouse in it. That's what I heard.
$24 billion surplus. They had $32 billion last time. What did he say?
Can you turn him down? You're giving people depressing news. The Texas state government overcharged us by $24 billion. And for perspective, in 2021, they only brought in $70 billion in property taxes. And they've overcharged us $24 billion last year on top of 30-something billion the year before.
Yeah. Listen to what Representative Donna Howard, Democrat of Austin, tells CBS Austin. I'm confident in what we as Democrats are going to be working for, and that is investing in Texas. There's no thought of giving this money back.
No, who does that sound like? Be honest, who does that sound like? The ISD.
Texas Public Policy Foundation said this $24 billion surplus is an opportunity to eliminate property taxes. Now, the state pulled in 70 some odd billion a couple of years ago. They couldn't eliminate it, but they could almost cut it by a third.
Well, and I get it if they don't want to do that. I do. But if you've got $24 billion, do you realize that 50,000 kids on school vouchers is a nothing deal? If that's, or I'll go with Tammy Keeling on this. Fund our schools. Give that. I'm not a proponent of throwing money at a problem. Just like we've talked about, it doesn't make any sense to pay off every kid's school loans if on the other end of the building they're doing the same school loans to a new group of kids, right? And that is what they're doing. The exact same companies, the exact same criteria. While Joe Biden's over here paying off Ash's school loan, Ash's kid is over here getting a school loan from the exact same people. The problem is still there.
Federal government.
Right. So why, I don't know, Brian. He hasn't finished his sentence yet. That's what makes this work. We're like an old married couple. I finish his sentences.
There's Randy Langston checking in, Sherry Jacobs, Jarrett McCurgan.
Brian Small is getting really close to this, needing a real quick, just a throat tap. Maybe not a punch, but like when you go, what was that for?
See, I don't see that at all.
You don't. Well, of course you don't.
Monica Jost.
Okay, I'm putting myself on a 30. Let me get my timer up.
No, I'll finish your.
No, because clearly
Scott
my
Donka says you must have had an espresso on the way.
Clearly, I've been. You know what? My wife has me on this deal, and every morning I get up, and I take an Advocare Spark and an Advocare Fiber, and I don't know whether to just talk a lot or poop. I don't know. Dawn right there. Dawn says Brent had a spark this morning. So here's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it just to show you people something. I'm putting myself.
Now you hurt his feelings.
No. I'm going to do. Ready? I'm putting myself. I'm going to go as long as I can go without saying something starting now.
Feelings are hurt. Well, I was going to ask you a question. Now, if they took all $24 billion to appease the Tammy Keelings of the world and threw it all at education. 2 years from now, when Texas has not improved education, then what? Then
Funny
what?
you should ask.
All we would have proved is that you can't throw money at the problem without actually having a reason or a solution to fixing the problem.
Right. I don't know what you do because you and I, neither one of us are proponents of simply throwing money at.
No.
Don says, try sitting between them at church with Brent drinking a Spark and Ash drinking a coffee. And Ash showed up at church with the, I hope your sermon doesn't suck. It's that big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Pastor Hurt is just like, why am I even here? Those two guys are wired in the back.
Scott Tomko said 24 seconds.
Yeah. I timed it to 22.58. Thanks, Scotty.
Jim Hino host checking in.
Which is
Randy
also
Langston, good morning.
also my 40 time these days.
They time you with a sundial.
Brent Carter out of Texas, 22.4.
Let's take a break because we got to take a break and then we'll get into. We got to get better with our breaks.
Yeah, I did become Joe Biden. I was like, oh, look, it's a bird. Folks, Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen is your go-to tow-to. Let Allen's come out when you have a need, when you have a toppled vehicle, when you have an 18-wheeler that's in the ditch. If you're within sound of my voice and beyond, Allen's has a depot ready to serve you. 578-6300. Today, pre-call Tuesday.
Yep. Get in there, Veracruz Restaurant.
Just the best Mexican food in town, period. Get in there and see Lee and Ida and the whole family. Minnie's back. Get in there in the evenings for dinner. Great.
Never liked you.
She never, yeah, I know. She does like, if you want to get on, Pete Strauss knows this. You want to get on Minnie's good side, show up with some buttered pecan bluebell. USA Concrete Coating, Charlie Garcia and his brothers will come out and they can not only level your slab, they can put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't crack, stick, peel, or fade. Reach out to USA Concrete Coatings and let them help you. Compadres Design for all your advertising needs. Think Richardson Caps. Paravita Wellness. Get in and get healthy. Erica Briggs and her team going gluten-free, preservative-free, no red dye number 5.
Free. No
Anything
yellow number 5
want.
either.
Get in there and let Paravita Wellness help you. They're right at the corner.
They don't even use red dye number 5 in their logo.
Right. That's a good song, right? Red dye number 5. Get in there and let Paravita Wellness help you make your New Year's resolutions come true, you fat blob.
B Small says, beware of getting a call from you today while you're on the road.
Oh, don't worry, B Small. I'm just going to keep dialing you, just speed dialing you.
$24 billion.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think they what did Lieutenant
It's $1,000 for every resident of the state, roughly. It's more than $1,000 for every adult in the state. Think about that. $80 a month that the government is overcharging each adult in this state.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says his priorities with that surplus will be to continue to cut property taxes. When do they cut them?
They haven't cut my property taxes. That's a lie. All they're doing is spending money to ramp up the CAD.
And increase teacher salaries, along with making smart, new dispatchable power to our grid.
But here's the deal,
That
Ash.
$24 billion would go in a hurry if you really wanted to fix the grid.
If I
There'd be
tell
nothing
you
left.
can't, and I'm telling you can't fix the grid in this unregulated environment. If you and I decided tomorrow that we were going to throw a party, you and me are going to, and we've done that. We're going to throw a party, and I charge you $100 because I've got to throw a party. And at the end, I've got $24 left over. Do I really get to pat myself on the back? That's not even the best example. The government doesn't do anything to generate income. All it tells you is
like
they either misbudgeted, or they didn't underspend because they had a budget, they had a cause.
The last two bienniums, $57 billion in surplus revenue to this state.
Does biennium mean 2 years?
Yeah. So in
Okay.
so 2 years ago, prior to the last legislative session, $33 billion, 32 point something and change, but whatever, we'll round up in radio. 23.7 this time around, so 24 billion.
Lost me at biennium.
Yeah.
Sounds like a procedure. Well, I've got to go in this morning and have that biennium done. Doesn't that sound like something
That's barium.
down there? Sounds like something down there, doesn't it? I was all good till I had that biennium.
And we've spent it all. $57 billion expected to be spent. What do you see for it, folks?
Great point. Greg Garcia sums it up what I was trying to get to. Sheriff Louderback, good morning, sir. See you in a little while. Be listening to this part of the show. It says if we have a surplus, then it needs to come back to the taxpayers. We know how to spend our own money. Government just throws it down the drain. I don't understand that. It's almost like the spark free February. It's almost like the government wants an attaboy
Because
for
they have more money to
overcharging
spend.
you.
Yeah. We're the fiscal conservatives in Austin that would be out there front and center going, you know what? 24 billion that we've got, that's 24 billion we shouldn't have.
Well, and Randy Langston asks, well, what did they do with the 34 from last year? So now if you're at like $59-60 billion, is it in the bank? Or did they,
4.5 of it is because that's been set aside for vouchers that they couldn't agree on the legislation the last time around.
Well, then to me, honestly, if vouchers, even as insignificant as they may prove to be, if vouchers are a big hot button for the world, of that $59 billion, just set $10 billion of that aside and let's not worry about vouchers anymore. Now, of that remaining $49 billion, let's find a way to fix our schools. And like in Victoria, it might be that somebody gave us a $50 million grant to spruce up our facilities. Not to just go build a new building, but to put a new roof on, to make sure the AC works, why not? It's taxpayer money.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do. What are your quick thoughts? Do you think that the state of Texas, we know this would never happen. Should they though cut us a check, pay to the order of? Thank you.
Figure out where that 24 billion over the next 2 years is and reduce our sales tax by that amount.
True story. Junior Sample
Maybe
says
one
that
way.
if they gave it back, they'd give you a 1099 for it. True story. And you'd end up owing more. But I haven't understood how you say it's a lot like, and this is no slam to them because I think they do a great job. It'd be like Victoria Electric Co-op. You know, your real electric bill is like $250 a month, but they charge you $500. And at the end of the year, they go, oh, by the way, we had a surplus of $10 million and we're going to give it back to you over time. Greg Garcia says, yes, cut us a check. Can you imagine the popularity and the leverage that Governor Abbott could have if he initiated a deal that said, happy spring, here's $1,500? I don't know if it'd be fair to do that.
Is that the right number?
24 billion. Yes, sir. That's it. That's $670. $727 for every man, woman, and child in this state.
Yeah.
Now, would you give it back like that? You've got 4 people in your family. Here's $2,800. You've got 3 in yours. Here's $2,100. I mean, why not at this point? Anything would be appreciated. Alms for the
Prorated.
poor. Alms. Got you, didn't I?
Randy Lang says, in the meantime, we get threatened to lose our homes and property if we don't pay up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd like for them to send me that check before the 31st of this month when I have to go pay the county. Man. I'm going to ask about that today. I'll be walking down the halls of the state capitol today, and I'm going to take my little tam o' shanter, alms, Alms for the poor, surplus.
Just do a man on the street interview with every lawmaker you find. What are you going to do with the 20? What's your
How
priority
you
for
gonna, how you gonna
$24
recognize
billion
those people?
surplus?
How are you going to recognize them?
Do they have name tags?
Do they,
I don't know.
Right? Hi, I'm Bill, lawmaker. I like it.
Junior Sample says $1,500. Hell yeah, guns and ammo. Woo!
Right? No kidding. Oh, goodness gracious.
So I don't know. I mean, what are we going to see for it? I mean, remember when this city and county got all that COVID money? What have we seen for it?
Right. Well, I just remember the VISD
Right.
explanation when after they took the taxes, remember, because they had to take them, because if they didn't take them now,
They'll never
they
be able to
could
take
use that
them.
loophole to ever take them again. I look back now.
Shackles be small.
I remember
shackles.
being told straight up, individual from a school board member, oh, we're going to give you that money back, but we're going to give it back to you with better services and better facilities. Oh, so you're going to find a way to spend it on something that you weren't planning on spending it on. That's basically what happened with that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be small ask, how's Carter going to sit still during the ceremony? I'm not.
Shackles.
There's no way they let me in the building,
It might not.
because I'm going to go in there and start yelling, Attica, Attica. Freedom to the people, baby.
Linda Chris says our homes are never truly ours. The property taxes are so high, people living on Social Security can't afford them. Yeah, they added to the homestead exemption to $100,000. They froze taxes for old people. I think gave them a bigger break last time around. That's the property tax break that most of us really didn't see, because that $100,000 amounted to nothing.
So when you see people, and I'm just making this up as I go.
But Texas has the 7th highest property tax rate in the country. Think about that. We hear how low taxes are in Texas. 7th highest property tax rate in the country. New Jersey, New York.
Would you have a problem?
California's is lower.
Well, of course, it's all gone. Would you have a problem with me putting a bill out there that said, if you're over 65 and own your home outright, no more property taxes for you? Congratulations. You've achieved the American dream. You own your home. And guess what? You're 65. Make the stipulations you want. You're retired. You're not 65 and still making $1 billion a year, although you'd have income tax. So, okay, you're 65 and you own your home outright. No more property taxes for you. Think about the people who live in...
Well, that's not fair. I'm 65 and still paying my house.
Well, then you know what?
The Dems would be crying over that one.
Okay, so you're 65, you have no more property taxes. How about that? You're 65 and you have no, and Peter McNair says, and no state income tax. Yeah, but you have no property taxes on your home. So that you actually do own your home outright, that you're not paying taxes every year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, I don't want you to feel sorry for anybody, but think
because
about,
because you know what'll happen. The population's aging right now. Baby boomers are the biggest segment of the population.
No, that's true.
You, me, Cody, our kids will be paying for that going forward.
Yeah. Cody says, don't put him in our generation. Solid.
Andrew Alvarez, Texas would become the largest retirement community ever.
Well, there you go.
Peter
But guess
McNally
what? Those
says,
people
but-
eat. They
yeah.
spend money. They buy fuel.
Peter McNally says, but no state income tax.
Yeah, I like that. And you're right. Yeah, man, Andrew, that's a great point. But do you really want to? So next question, if you're the state of Texas, do you want all those old people moving here? I don't know. I mean, we're just spitballing here together.
I don't know. It's worked pretty good for Florida.
Tell you what, it has. And
I mean,
we need
think
the
about
money.
it. We get the villages too. And now building in Victoria,
we need
Texas.
one of those signs like right at the Red River, Texas, Jew friendly. Bring your money from New York and come on down.
Blue hair friendly.
Blue hair. Yeah. Bring us your Jews, your blue hairs, your huddled masses, yearning to pay no taxes.
Florida doesn't complain about any of those.
No, that's the whole point. And they elect
But Peter,
Republicans. There you go, Andrew Alvarez. Older people vote conservative because they've seen things.
I don't know when people, is there really an advantage to no state income tax when people lose their homes because they can't pay the property taxes? I don't know.
Yeah. Brian Small says the new Del Boca Vista. Del Webb, man, he's made a killing off old folks.
Yeah,
I like it. Has anybody seen, you haven't noticed yet, if you're going south on Main Street towards downtown, beautiful, vibrant downtown, where all the activity is, on the left, on the east side of the road, right before you get to Airline, there's some new construction going up on a lot there. And it looks like there's maybe 8 units going up that there's the garage is underneath and the flat, if you will, is above. And I'm just wondering what the story is there. I can't imagine anybody building that for rental property. Building rental property these days, I can't imagine such.
I can't imagine anybody wanting to buy a place to live on Main Street.
Man, I don't know. You've seen them, right, Cody? They're sharp. They look right size for like 2 people.
So a townhome.
There you go. Jennifer Rayburn says Pearl Homes is building townhomes. Jennifer, is that in response to my comment, or are you just throwing out facts? Because if that's the case,
Both.
I'd like to know about those. They look really nice. So far, they're tall. I think there's a garage and 2 floors above. Yeah. But wait.
Sarah Elkins says that's the police department.
Yeah, oh, that's right. $57 million worth of police building. Yeah. Michelle Wilson-Hawkins says Pearl Homes is building that. I was curious too. Looks like townhomes.
It's great for adults with no kids in their 40s, but get 65 and have knee issues. You don't want to be walking those stairs.
I know Michelle Wilson.
The Villages has no stairs. Just tennis courts and golf courses and pickleball.
I know Michelle Wilson-Hawkins well, and I want to share with you that
Jennifer Rayburn says there is a sign there.
I'm usually going about 70 miles an hour down that road, and I don't see the sign.
That's why.
You usually have to meet a middle-aged Hispanic woman to find the level of detective work that Michelle Wilson-Hawkins can do. She knows things. You know what I'm saying too, Ash. That's not a put down to anybody. That's a true statement. Usually, if you meet a Hispanic woman in her 40s,
I forgot to do this.
You get all kinds of things with that. And one is a deep, deep detective capability. Very interesting. Oh, now Linda Chris comes in. They're planning on building the Palisades back with mostly apartments instead of single-family homes. I don't believe that. I think people were on Gavin Newsom yesterday saying, oh, yeah, he's already negotiating through another company to buy up land to put in multifamily stuff. You don't take a place like Pacific Palisades and $6 million homes, and that's the average, and just, tell Jamie Lee Curtis you're out. I'm not sure if her home got burned down.
We're going to put the homeless folks there.
I did hear that she gave $1 million to the immediate effort. Like, take this $1 million, and if those people need a latte, get it for them.
Take our next break, and then we'll talk a few other interesting things. Lots going on in Washington, D.C. Lots going on in Dallas.
Folks, if you haven't seen the offices at 205, you need to get here. Did I interrupt you?
I was starting with Wentz Services. I was just working from the top of the list down.
Well, that's right. But the office is at 205. Get in here.
Yeah, give Jimmy Zaplak a call.
Jimmy can help you. You can meet John Paul Hull. We'll get him down here and let you visit with him. He owns the building. He can help you understand, well, we can get the internet in here, yada, yada, yada. He can help you. Go about Wentz Services. You go.
Well, just they're awesome for all your electrical needs, whether you want a whole home generator, you just want a generator enough to keep your essential appliances running, just the AC going. Any budget, any scope, Wentz got you covered. VCS companies,
for all your communication needs. They power the Wade and Carter program. Great stuff. We used to joke way back when. You want to walk into a room, have the lights come on, you want the music to follow you from room to room. The VCS companies can engineer that for you.
don't make it happen.
They can do it all the way down to a ranch radio. We need to find Commander Cody. Boom. Breaker 19. Where's Cody? We can do that. The VCS companies for all your communication needs. RK Development Group, Daniel Rollins and his team, 35 years of construction.
He keeps threatening to come in here and tell y'all what he does.
He's coming in.
Yeah.
He lives over in Goliad, and trying to get him here is a challenge, but he's coming in.
But he can handle all your construction needs. He has no problem getting to your construction site. He just has a problem coming to see us because it's just us.
Absolutely.
We're not important. That's an offer for all your brand new pre-owned vehicle needs, trucks. That's an offer, that'sanoffer.com. You can surf the web and then go by and see Tommy Taylor and tell him, this is the one I want. I saw it online.
Yeah, and
they'll have it. They don't pull no bait and switch garbage.
You can scrub that list any way you want. You can go in and say, I want to see them by year. I want to see them by mileage, low to high, high to low. It's just a great system for ferreting out the vehicle you want. And then brand us. We were talking to Cody this morning, whether it's building a website, freshening your website, adding, you ever go on somebody's website, it's just the same page, just a different stock photo. You know what I'm talking about. You click on the web page and there's like a white guy, a black guy, an Asian guy, and a girl in a wheelchair. And they've got everybody covered. It's the DEI web page. Those things aren't real. Those people aren't real. Reach out to Brand Us and let Cody help you display your company the way it should be displayed.
It's all AI.
That's right. Do that. White Trash Services, it's all hard work. 550-1826, inviting you to get a quote. It's time. It's 25. Let's get rid of that old barn building out on the back 40. Let White Trash come out, tear it down, haul it off. You'll be thrilled to go out there and realize that there's a nice little rolling hill there.
You have a shop full of junk, they'll clear it out for you, too.
Absolutely.
You can hire them to do all that.
Call White Trash today at 550-1826. And then Chesnick Furniture. Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Find out why you just always do better at Chesnick. Go by and see Bobby Leon and say, man, my grandmother bought a sofa here in 1960. And by the way, it's back in style. That
still has the plastic on it.
Absolutely. Give them a call.
I was talking with a buddy yesterday. Remember that? Grandparents used to have the plastic covers on their sofas.
Because they were saving it.
And they had that clear plastic runner down the hallway to save the carpet in the hallway.
But Grandpa smoked so much that the plastic cover on the sofa was yellow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I can remember
the same Grandpa?
But I can remember it had the plastic cover had like a formed texture to it. And you could sit there and push the little bubbles, if you will. You could push them down and then they'd pop back up.
Yeah.
That was exciting in 1965. I mean, that was a big deal.
Well, you only had ABC, NBC, and CBS to watch.
And it was in black and white.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
You had to get up and change channel.
I'm Walter Cronkite.
So does anybody really care about the Jack Smith report? Oh, he definitely was a criminal and had criminal intent to overthrow the election. So if that's really the case, you've dropped all prosecution. You're no longer the special counsel. Merrick Garland's not going to be the AG after all this.
I mean, why are they teaming up on me for dressing up? I take off my Fetterman. Will Vincent says, is Brent going on a blind date? Will, you know Dawn.
She's blind.
She'd have to be. For someone to go on a date with me, they'd have to be blind because my wife would shank them. Yeah. And then shank me. I'm like afraid to be that guy that sneaks into Whataburger. She might come in. Right? You got the fries, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Into my jugular.
And the onion rings.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Hook 'em horns, baby. I got to watch. We're watching a show right now on Netflix called Killing Eve. And I've watched enough of these things to say it's got that British humor. I didn't used to know what that was, but I get it now. The things they think are funny are really not that funny. That's why England is such a mess. The things they think are funny are not that funny. But there's a lady on the show she's an assassin is what she does. And last night she caught a guy in the jugular with a knitting needle.
Ugh.
Didn't look like a good way to go.
Pretty impressive.
It's fairly quick.
Grandma could have done that to you.
The graphics were great. He put his hand on his neck and the blood was squirting out between his fingers.
Got him right in the jugular, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Nothing says foreplay like watching a murderer on Netflix in bed at night. Makes your wife kind of, I look over and Dawn's like scooting away from me on the bed as I'm playing with a pocket knife. Yeah. Yes. I'm just sharpening this knife.
She's got the straight blade going on the leather.
On the strop. Word of the day, strop. Crystal Map says, Brent's looking sharp, safe travels, and huge congrats to Sheriff A.J. Lauterbach for House District 30. Amen, and thank you,
I think that's
Crystal.
the thing. I mean, you could have probably not put the tie on and people may not have said anything, but when you go from Fetterman to, that's like 0 to 100 in 3 seconds.
I want you to know that if I had been elected mayor, of course, I'd be in like my 3rd term by now. This is what I would look like every day. So I really appreciate you folks not voting for me because I don't like wearing a tie. Right. I'm the mayor of 205
and a half.
I'm the mayor of half.
Except you wouldn't have worn that every day. You still have your day job. It's not like mayor pays anything.
True. I joke with people now, we couldn't take the pay cut or the power cut. We get more done without being mayor than if we were mayor.
I agree.
Yep.
Speaking of which, city apparently sending out surveys to folks via text messages asking for input on the community center and a potential and thoughts on a rodeo arena. I haven't seen I've just heard about the survey. I haven't seen it.
I know that things are not mutually exclusive. I mean, you can't stop I think our record here, I'm all for a new community center. I'm all for a roping arena and a place that we can host livestock shows and things with ease and really emphasize.
I'd be all for it if we were actually going to build that, but better.
But
we don't need a Gonzales in Victoria. We don't need a Breckenridge Event Center.
Wouldn't that be something though? That's such a beautiful place. Breckenridge is so lovely, so multi-purpose,
but
so
it's not
good.
Really. There's no AC. You can't do anything inside when it's really hot. I mean, you can, but
you're just going to sweat. But
we're on the verge of needing something that seats 3,000 or 4,000 people, like what they just built in Fort Bend, the epicenter. It's kind of what we need in Victoria. But once again, we're thinking too small potatoes, and we're going to build something that in 5 years, people in Victoria are not going to be happy with and be complaining that we wasted money and could have done something better.
But I don't even
$30 million in COVID funds that went to nothing.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was like, for example, was the new pavilion downtown part of the COVID funds?
I don't know.
I think that was like a gift to Victoria. I don't hate that. But is it fair for me to say, or am I being?
I don't hate it. But what did we say when the city got all that money from the governments? What are we going to see with it? And we haven't seen anything with it.
That's true. But is it fair to say that are they just different sections of the program? Part of me says I have a hard time spending a bunch of taxpayer dollars on a new party pavilion when it's clear and documentable that we're not taking care of our police and fire departments. I mean,
yeah.
Is it fair for me to say, I know that nobody, if I came to you and said, would you give an extra $1.50 a week in taxes to build a new convention center? I think most people would probably say yes. But if I said, will you give me an extra 50 cents a week to be distributed among the police and fire? You'd, nobody told them to be firemen. I think that's a problem, because you don't care about the firemen until your house is on fire. I don't know how we do that. I know that there's been flips and flops. And by the way, I am a Jesus Garza fan.
Well, the only way you can do what you're doing, the only way you can just put lipstick on a pig with the community center is by using our existing tax base.
I would not try to
taxes.
That place down there has, man, folks, I was going there in the late 60s. That place has outlived its usefulness.
And its location is terrible.
Right, and it did nothing.
There's no major
to spur
thoroughfares
redevelopment down there.
No.
It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. The roads getting there are still terrible. Drive down Ben Wilson. Woo!
North is worse.
Yeah. North Street in front of Patty Welder. It's like you could lose a kidney. So there's no reason that if you're going to do
that's
something.
what they thought, right? The community center in Stroman. All right, it'll revitalize the area.
Didn't work.
Didn't do anything.
If you're going to do something, you need to go out here north on either or west on 87, but you can go out here north on 77.
City and county should have expropriated the Pioneer lot.
That's what they should have done. That's what they should have done is the city and county should have gone together, bought the Pioneer property, used it for maintenance of their vehicles together. You know, neither one needs a shop as big as what's at Pioneer. They could have used it together, and then you could add on to that property.
Daniel Wade White says the tax plan will be a couple of % hotel tax.
The beautiful thing about Pioneer that nobody really stops to think about is there's miles and miles of concrete. So we could go out there and stripe it, and you've already got your parking built in for your event center.
Absolutely.
And nobody thinks. That's the problem. You know who thought? Region 3. Hey, that's got to be worth something. Pioneer's dumping it for a fire sale. Let's buy it. They're smart. Do they need to be in the real estate business with our tax money? Maybe not.
Robert Howard says, but they're wasting money on Jesus' Taj Mahal on Main.
Yeah. What is that? The Taj Mahal on Main. What am I missing?
Public service.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been to our police station both as a visitor and a perpetrator. And if you go in there, it's easy to see.
Aren't they one the same?
We've outgrown it. There were people on top of people. That place was, fashionable in the late 60s, early 70s, and it is, they're way on top of each other now. Yeah. I don't have a soft spot for law enforcement. I don't have a heart for fire departments like our friend Buddy Kamen does. I have a common sense approach that says if you don't invest in the very most basic services of your community is going to go to pot. And in the same breath that I'm all for teachers making more money, 100% believe our teachers need to make more money. I'm willing to be taxed to protect you from bad people and fire.
I don't know that we even have to increase taxes to do it. We just need to cut spending on the stuff that isn't important.
And I don't know what that is. I don't. I know that I have a double-edged sword because I go to these events. I went to the chamber lunch when Jesus gave the state of the city, and he went through all the departments. And folks, there are a bunch. There are a bunch of departments and department heads and all of that. But when I went to that meeting, every one of them I left there going, that's a good use of money. That's a good, boy, they've got the right person in charge of that. I did not leave there going, boy, there's a lot of fat in that budget. I didn't. And I don't think
there is a lot of fat in our budget. I mean, there's probably some, but regardless, the city's done a terrible job of planning to grow.
True story.
And growing the plan.
Forever.
I mean, when the state has grown exponentially, there should be just if you did nothing. But we've done less than nothing, and we've been flat for the 30 years I've been here.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Jeremy McCrugen says, up here, that would be in Canada. He goes, I would give teachers more money with more days in the classroom. I have no problem. I think our kids ought to go to school year round. And I think they should get vacation days built into their program. Between June 15th and September 1st, you're allowed to take up to 2 weeks consecutively off from school. You're not late. You're not excused absence. You're not, as long as we get our
Get them to the real world. Let them accrue 1 vacation day and 1 sick day a month from the time they start.
No doubt about it. If you start getting into, they've got to go to class, whatever it is, 180 days a year, that's fine. But we're going to school year round. We're still going to play football season when it's football season. By the way, the teachers would probably be all for it, provided they got the same 2 weeks, because what do you call it? Spoiler alert. Most teachers, like in your mind, you say teachers get 3 months off in the summer. What's their problem? No, they don't. No, they don't get 3 months off. Between all the BS meetings and all the mandatory and all the Region 3 garbage, they get about a week and a half off. And I'm not exaggerating. They have time to go on vacation.
You might be exaggerating.
A little bit. Cody, tell me.
And they get Christmas.
Do they get a solid month off? We should all get Christmas off. A little over a month. That's fine. We'll give her 4 weeks vacation. But we're going to pay her for it. And put those kids to school all year round. Like I said, if you, we want to go to Disney World. Okay, well, put in your notice. Let them know that your kid's going to be gone for that 2 weeks. And by the way, Dawn says he really isn't exaggerating. And Dawn, you know what I'm talking about. We have teachers and administrators as close friends who the administrators forget it. They're on a 1-year contract and they work all year.
Price you pay for being the boss.
Well, I don't disagree. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm saying we might as well have school year round. Anybody out there disagree with school year round?
I think you see a whole bunch of people that would complain because that would get rid of the aftercare, daycare.
Would it?
I don't know, Mike.
I don't care. The daycares are just taking advantage of people anyway.
Somebody would find
$400 a week. $400 a week, and
you
you give my kid a peanut butter sandwich. I mean, what are we kidding? Who are we kidding? Daycare is a racket. Prove me wrong. It's all based on what mama can earn. If mama could only make $500 a week, daycare would be $50 a week. But because mama might go make $75,000 a year, well, for $400 a week, we'll watch your kid. Every parent I know weighs the relative value of daycare.
Yep.
You know, it's expensive.
Shifting gears real quick, Pete Hegseth on the docket today for Senate confirmation hearings.
Does he have a chance?
This one, I think so, but this one could be maybe the dicier of the bunch.
Where do you fall with him?
I like him. I think he's good. I think he'll do wonders. I think he'll shake up the establishment, and that's why they're so worried and scared.
I was just defense minister. What would he be? The
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense. What he's going to be is unashamedly hetero. And he's going to walk in and say, you guys over there in the Air Force in your skirt, you're out of here. You're out of here. And if you have a problem with that.
The leftists are worried because it'll end the DEI stuff in the military.
The DEI stuff has been shown to fail. Corporate America has turned its back on DEI.
Yeah.
They realize that it's not what the American people want.
Oh, and it hurt their sales.
Yeah, well, it was just how the American people speak. The whatever your friend was, the Bud Light guy on the can, as minuscule as that really was.
Your godchild?
Yes. That sent the message to the marketplace, hey, if we raise our hands together, we make a difference. And the American people, think about this, just the Bud Light drinking American public cost AmBev several $1 billion and single-handedly made Modelo the number one beer in the land. And Bud Light is still struggling.
Yep.
And I've been to parties, I'm not exaggerating, where there is a tub of Bud Light over there. And I've had men say to me, they're out of beer. And they won't drink it, just as a matter of principle. Wow. Think about that. There you go. Jerry McCrugan says, how did summer break start anyway? Was it in the old days when there were harvests?
Probably.
And partly probably as a bone to the school teacher, the school marm who didn't make very much money.
Well, as Hanson says, I'm late to the game. Is this in theory or is it on the table for you around school? No, we're just spitballing ideas here for.
Yeah, but Melissa, we can make it happen. We'll just keep talking about it. I'll keep wearing a tie. We'll keep talking about it.
Linda Chris says vacation last
Farming.
week of June, first week of July. Thank you. Now let's get to what everybody really wants to talk about.
How about the Cowboys?
First State Bank Cowboys report. Mike McCarthy not fired. A lot of misperception. His contract ran out.
And they just decided not to
renegotiate, bring him back.
He's a front runner or a.
But why did they not give the Bears permission to speak to him?
That's a great question.
Because they knew in a week his contract was going to be up.
Yep.
They didn't want to tip their hand that they weren't going to renew it.
That's right.
But, I mean, at that point, you pay him out and say, okay, goodbye.
Bears and Saints both expressing interest in Mike McCarthy. Any way you want to look at it, the Cowboys' reputation now usurps any failings in Mike McCarthy's ability. They're so inept as a franchise.
Think about it. What has been the one consistent change over the last 15 years in Cowboy land? Head coaches.
What hasn't changed?
The on-field performance.
Or the GM and the president.
And their lack of ability to bring in, and I've said this before, I think when the starters are healthy, Cowboys probably as talented as any team in football, in the NFL. There's no depth.
Right.
They've proven. Micah Parsons goes down, they've got no pressure on the quarterback.
Ash is out there with his helmet on sideways, number 98.
That's exactly it.
Coming in, the great one, number 99. That'd be you. You'd be Gretzky.
So it doesn't matter who the next Cowboys coach is going to be because nothing's going to change.
Unless it's Deion Sanders, who brings in his son Shadur. At least it's not Shathid.
That's the talk.
That's your brother.
I just got that one.
Shathid, Shathid Sanders. But is Deion the answer? Will Jerry Jones let Deion run the program? And is Deion qualified to run an NFL program? Unless you think I'm being racist here.
Will today's NFL player have the same respect for a Pro Bowler from 20 years ago as their head coach as Deion has in college? Because I just can't see a pro going, you're not talking to me that way, bro.
By the way, same exact feelings I have about the possibility of one Jason Witten returning as Cowboys coach. You may know, because you're a man of the world, Jason Witten has been coaching high school ball, back-to-back state championships, 24-1 over the last 2 years. Really doesn't necessarily in any form translate to the NFL game, except Witten obviously has a lifetime of experience in the NFL game. He and Deion put him in a bag, shake him up. Neither one's qualified to be an NFL coach. Neither one. Deion Sanders is probably willing to leave Colorado because he's probably one step ahead of whatever infractions committee will inspect them at some point. I think the guy to go get...
They've already talked. Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders probably spoke yesterday.
They probably talk all the time and be like,
no interview has been scheduled, according to a report on ESPN by Todd Archer, but the two expected to continue their dialogue over the next few days.
I wonder how that dialogue would go. Deion, Jerry Jones, love to have you come coach the Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Coach, I don't know, Coach. You ready for Coach Prime? I got to have it my way, Daddy-O. I mean, I don't. And, oh, by the way, I'm coming with my son.
Remember what happened the last time Jerry Jones had a coach who was really good, and Jerry thought his ego was getting too big?
Yeah, that was a guy named Jimmy Johnson, who they went ahead and fired. I think you're going to see, but look at it like this, Ash. Dan Quinn. We had him. He was on our staff. He's now the coach of,
The Washington Commanders.
and they are still in.
The playoffs. Sean Payton went and won Super Bowls in New Orleans. I mean, at the time we were.
But he's had a turnaround in Denver
Yes, he
already. Dan Campbell, tight end, Cowboys,
Wasn't a coach for us. I don't think.
Now the
Maybe
coach
he was,
of?
maybe he was Detroit
and they are.
in the playoffs.
There you go. We're letting all these. Jonathan Williams says that Steve Sarkisian is rumored to be on the Jones list. You know what? I get mixed reviews on that, and I'll tell you why. I'm not sure I'd miss Sarkisian. I like him. I think he's a great recruiter. That doesn't translate in any form to being a great NFL coach. Right? I mean, just because you can recruit in college, go ask Nick Saban about the ease of transition from the college game to the NFL game. And I think he would go ask.
Go ask Jimmy Johnson. Everything lined up perfectly in Dallas. It didn't line up so well in Miami.
You know that when Jimmy got to Dallas at that time, Jerry Jones acquiesced and said, it's your program. Jimmy Johnson fired a guy once in a preseason game after he muffed a kickoff return. You, get out of here. Fired him during the game. You don't see that anymore. It was a different era.
NFLPA probably wouldn't allow that anymore.
Yeah. BJ Nelson asked, did you see Jerry Jones on Landman? I did, and I do think that, honestly, that was somewhat of a soul-cleansing cameo for Jerry. I think Jerry was telling you the truth.
That was no soul cleansing.
Well, we're at the top of the hour. I'm still wound up on Spark. No, we love you guys.
Don't get caught speeding.
And I love, no. Why are you speaking? You guys have a great day. We love you. Be safe.
Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.
I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife.